Good evening, and welcome to our rendition of International Jazz Day, Thursday, April 30th, 2020, broadcasting to you here from the Niagara region in Canada. Today's show is celebrating the world's greatest jazz pianists and featuring two of Canada's greatest jazz pianists, Adrean Farrugia and Peter Shea. I'm going to bring in Peter Shea into the broadcast right now. Let's see. There he is. Hey, Peter, how are you doing?
I'm good. Oh, I got to get used to the camera. Here we go.
Right, me too. It's like, woo.
Right, okay. Now I'm in the shot. Whoop. Okay.
Okay, there we go. So for those who don't know, Peter and I actually live in the same house, but I'm upstairs broadcasting from here. He's downstairs because we wanted you to have the perfect sound. And then we'll be bringing in, for the latter part of the show, Adrean Farrugia, who will be broadcasting from Hamilton. Yeah, so I'm going to leave you with Peter for now. I'll come back at the end of Peter's set. Please enjoy. And remember, you can tip the musicians or donate to the festival. There's information, and I'll be looking at all the comments. So if you need any info, I will get that to you. So have a great show, and take it away, Peter.
Okay. I'm going to take these headphones off now. How y'all doing? Welcome to Happy International Jazz Day, everybody. I'm going to play three of my favorite piano players for you. It's my honor and privilege to do so. I just looked actually through some videos today of people playing one of the first piano players that I'm going to present. I watched some young piano players playing Bill Evans. He's a very, shall I say, emulated and adored musician and pianist, and it's my honor and my privilege to be able to learn from his voicings and his sound. He left an amazing legacy. So I'm going to play a song for you. This is called "A Time for Love." Sorry, I'll get in the shot here. It's "A Time for Love," everybody. "Time for Love" by Bill Evans. Well, it wasn't by him, but he's gonna. It's Okay, enjoy. And that was my warm-up piece that I chose. It was called "The Time for Love," dedicated to one of the greatest jazz pianists of all time, Bill Evans. And I'm going to move on in a second to another favorite of mine, one of my ultimate favorites, Mr. Errol Garner, actually. So I'm going to play a little mishmash of tunes, two songs that he did in the style that he would do, and I'm going to start with a song that he wrote. Actually, he didn't write it because Errol Garner couldn't read a note of music, so he heard the music in his head when he was flying home from a tour, and then he actually got one of his friends to come down and transcribe it for him. And this song is called Misty, and it became a big hit actually. Misty, and then I'm gonna medley it into. I'm gonna mash it into another song for you, just to give you a little taste of the late great Errol Garner. Definitely one of the guys I would put on my list for the greatest pianists of all time, and also one of the happiest piano players of all time. So a little bit Errol Garner there. Looking at the time there, so I have time to play another Errol Garner. That was, of course, Misty. Fantastic, fantastic song. You can play it any number of ways, and you never get tired of a standard like Misty. And it certainly is a reflection of the genius of the late great Errol Garner. And I'm going to play you one of my favorite songs to play of all times. It was written by Cole Porter, Night and Day, and I'm going to do a little bit more up-tempo there for you and in the style of Errol Garner. Okay. So that was Night and Day, and you may notice that the style of Errol Garner is unique. I think even from the first piano player that I played, very different styles, and but there's different things I love about both those piano players, Bill Evans and Errol Garner so far. Bill Evans has, I like to think he's taken piano players like Bach and even the romantic piano players like Ravel and Debussy, and somehow he's merged that into jazz, and he expanded the vocabulary certainly, and the chording, and just the beautiful sounds you can get, the inner motions between hands, and the balance and clarity of sound that he gets. It's extraordinary and unique, and he's just one of many of the great piano players. Only one. There are so many. The list goes on. Errol Garner is just fabulous, and just incredible feel that he has, and he could play anything. He subbed for Art Tatum at one point, and nobody could tell the difference. So if you're a sub for Art Tatum, you're pretty darn good. Anyway, I'm going to go on to my last piano player. I'm going to dedicate it to two piano players, actually. The first piano player, I would really like to do a shout out to the Marsalis family. I would like to extend my heartfelt condolences to you for the loss of your father. I feel this loss in my heart, and he was actually the very first person that I ever transcribed a solo. My father brought home tapes. My dad used to bring stuff home from the library, and he just picked this tape, and we fell in love with it. And it was Ellis Marsalis playing a number of songs, and one of them I'm going to play for you. And I started transcribing Ellis, and I lifted about 3 or 4 transcriptions, and just fell in love with his playing, and he's just been an inspiration for so many people. And I'm sure right now in New Orleans, everyone is feeling the loss of such a great pillar of jazz, somebody who had an incredible knowledge of all the things that in New Orleans. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the song now. This is called "Have You Met Miss Jones?" This is one of the songs that I lifted a long time ago of Ellis Marsalis, and I'm gonna actually feature a little bit of style. I'm gonna fuse some stylings of Oscar Peterson, which is the last piano player I'd like to feature as well. So those two piano players, Oscar and Ellis Marsalis. met Miss Jones, and a shout out to no, just our condolences to the Marsalis family, and just want to say that I think that Ellis is one of the great piano players of all time, and certainly one of the great educators. And so, shout out to Ellis. I got to see him down in New Orleans not too long ago, and man, it was a pleasure to finally see him play. And my heart aches that he from his passing, but he left an incredible legacy that we were all very truly grateful for. So I'm gonna do a little boogie woogie.
Oh, hi, Peter.
Oh, sorry.
Time's up. Aw.
Oh, should I put the headphones?
Yeah. Oh, headphones on. Sorry. Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Yeah.
We're so swept away with your piano playing. Hello.
Hello.
I'm upstairs, honey.
All right. Are we still live? What's going on?
We are still live.
All right.
Everybody can hear you, and that was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You didn't see, but all of these great comments. You'll get to watch the recording.
Oh, okay.
Everybody was commenting as you were playing. Really enjoyed all of your pieces. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to bring in Adrian. You and I will go in the same room and enjoy Adrian's show, and then all three of us can come back and say a goodbye at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to make you disappear from the screen, but I'll see you in a few seconds.
Okay.
Okay, bye. So, wow. Thanks again for all of the lovely comments for Peter that he'll get to see, and I'm glad you're all enjoying the show. I'm going to bring on our next guest. If you're just tuning in, we are celebrating International Jazz Day. Here we are, the TD Niagara Jazz Festival. A big thanks to the City of St. Catharines, who is helping us with our live stream events this year, because of course the festival's taking on a new form, as it were, while we're all in lockdown here during COVID-19. So thanks to the City of St. Catharines. Our next guest, you're in for a treat. I didn't give him much notice to come in for this because he's actually going to come back on May 23rd and do a full show. And so I asked him if he could come in and celebrate some of the world's greatest jazz pianists. He himself has been playing since the age of 12, and he also composes as well. So tonight he'll be playing other composers, but please come back to our channel to tune into Adrean Farrugia. That'll be on May 23rd for 50 minutes of all of his songs of his choice. But I'm so glad that he agreed to celebrate International Jazz Day with us. He has 4 Juno Award nominations, a Juno Award, and a Grammy Shortlist recognition. He's one of Canada's finest jazz pianists, and he's been in our festival several times, and it's always interesting because sometimes we featured him with his trio or quartet, but he's almost in the festival every year because he's so in demand that everybody calls him as their first choice piano player. So we are so thrilled to have Adrean here tonight. I'm going to bring him in. Here we go. There he is. Hey, Adrean, how you doing?
I'm well. Can you hear me? I've got piano mics on.
We can totally hear you. I'm so
Awesome.
thrilled. This is so great. And thanks for taking the time to do sound checks with me yesterday and today so we could get
Oh, that was fun.
the perfect sound. Yeah, looking good. And I know you're going to be sounding good. So I'm going to get out of the way and let you take it away. Have a great show, and I'll see you at 8.
Okay, thanks, Juliet.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stare at myself in these goofy headphones for one more second before I take them off. Yeah. Well, I don't know who's here, but thank you for being here. This is my first live stream I've done since this whole quarantine thing. So I've ordered an Ethernet adapter for my computer. There might be a little bit of lagging because I'm using Wi-Fi, but I'm crossing my fingers that you get to hear the music clearly. Thank you so much, Juliet and Peter, for keeping the music going during these interesting times. I'm honored to be able to play a few tunes for you on International Jazz Day. So how about it for Peter Shea, by the way? I really enjoyed that. I'm going to honor a few of my own personal favorites. I'm going to start by honoring the pianist who could possibly be argued as the greatest jazz pianist of the 20th century, but suppose a few of them could. This is a piece by Herbie Hancock, a piece that he's gone on record saying he thinks it's the best piece he ever wrote. This is Maiden Voyage. so weird finishing and not having an applause. Yeah, that's a great tune. I feel like it's such a simple tune that it's actually a very complex tune because there's so many things you can do with it. It's always very cool to try and find colors, angles. Next, I'm going to tribute one of the sort of possibly lesser known pianists, but a real piano player's piano player. Truly one of the greats from, oh, I should have done a little Google homework. I'm pretty sure he's from Memphis, Tennessee originally, the great Phineas Newborn Jr. He has an album I really love called A World of Piano. And again, I should have done my homework. 1960. I'm going to play a tune that I'm going to cover his cover of a Horace Silver piece, a really fun bluesy piece entitled Juicy Lucy. Lucy. Hi, Trudy. I see your face on the screen. Yeah, that was Juicy Lucy by Horace Silver, as attempted to be played like the great Phineas Newborn. How are we doing for time? Oh, we got time. Good. Okay. I'm going to go on now to tribute my first great love in jazz piano. I remember back in 1992 when I first started jazz piano lessons at Mohawk College in Hamilton. My teacher was the great Mark Eisenman, and I was pretty new to jazz. I started my college years as a classical major, and then I saw the jazz guys jamming, and I thought they were very cool, and I wanted to be just like them. So I decided to dive headfirst into studying jazz, and I'll never forgive them. Kidding, I love it. And my teacher, Mark Eisenman, gave me a list of guys to check out, and one of those names was Bud Powell. And I went down to the Sam the Record Man, and I went in the jazz bin, and I found a cassette tape, the amazing Bud Powell Volume 1 on Blue Note Records. And I'm going to play a tune of his that I know and love, entitled Dance of the Infidels. I'm just going to adjust my bench, though. Get a little more height. Dance of the Infidels. Well, we're tributing the great piano players today. Peter tributed some of my favorites. Bill Evans, Errol Garner, Ellis Marsalis, Oscar Peterson. I'm going to tribute the artist who has had probably the single biggest impact on me as a piano player on this journey. That would be the great Keith Jarrett. But I decided instead of playing a piece of his, I'm going to play a piece that I wrote to close off. Because I realized that our influences as musicians go beyond just our playing. I know my own compositional style has been very moved by Keith Jarrett's ability to sort of blend the jazz tradition with the kind of gospel and Americana tradition, and of course the classical music tradition. So I'm going to finish with actually one of the most recent songs I wrote. Actually kind of wrote it for my mom, but for today on International Jazz Day, I'm going to dedicate this one to Keith Jarrett. This is a piece I wrote called Remembering. And again, thank you, Juliet Dunn. You're amazing. Peter, you're amazing. Whoever's here, thank you. Live music is something special. And, you know, we're doing the best we can right now. This is the closest thing we can get to playing live right now, but I think something that many of us are starting to realize, not being able to go out and be together and be in the same room as the music, is there's something powerful in the vibrations that happen between human beings when they share that experience. And you know, our computers are working so hard to send those vibrations to their little speakers, but it really isn't the same. But this is kind of the next closest thing we've got right now. And again, thank you, Juliet and Peter. You guys have become friends over the years, and to see your tireless and sometimes somewhat thankless work is inspiring. I think it's your dedication to this music that shows the rest of us that this is something beautiful and powerful and something that we have to believe in and work very hard to keep alive. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to end with Remembering. Thanks, folks.
Thank you, Adrian. That was amazing. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
We put a link for tipping. I hope it's up there. I'm just putting it up there now. There we go. So, and if people need it, just they can private message us so that they can tip you guys for your beautiful hard work. We are paying the musicians too. Thanks to the City of St. Catharines for that, and thanks so much to Peter and Adrian for this wonderful show. Tomorrow night we have Roberta Hunt here from 7 until 8 on this channel, and from Crescent City, from New Orleans, Christopher Butcher on Saturday. So happy International Jazz Day. Thanks again, Adrian. Thanks, Peter. And we'll see you soon. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.
Bye.